Okay, here's the plates for the hydroxy generator. They consist of 10 plates that are 8 by 15 and 3 plates that are 10 by 15. So yeah, so we've got 10 of these and 3 of these. These are the power plates. And both of them have 2 4mm holes drilled into them, and that's to run the zip ties through. So now what I'm doing is taking them and sticking 2 rubber pads to them with super glue. 2 of these, it's just part of neoprene rubber sheets. I had some left over from another project, so neoprene rubber. It's sort of cut up into roughly 2 by 4, but they range, but they're all the exact same thickness, which is 1 mil. So I stick 2 of them, one on either side of the hole, and then when you stack them, there'll be a little, just enough gap for the hydrogen, the oxygen to form without leaving too big a gap, so that it starts bleeding energy. There'll still be leakage around the edges, but it's going to be wet cell, so you can avoid that. So I'm going to finish off the rest of the plates, and then I'll start assembling the cell. Here are all the plates with the rubber attached to them, glued with super glue. I'm going to leave it to dry for a little bit, but they've already set. So now I've got to stack them on top of each other, and then I'll secure them together. So what I'm doing, I've laid them out in order so the holes should line up. This is the way they were drilled. So I should be able to line up the holes reasonably well. Just take one from there, and one from over there, stack them, attempt to line up the holes roughly, and there you go, the holes are lined up, and there is a very thin gap in between, 1 mil. So when this is all attached together, there'll be a thin gap in between each of the cells where the water will go to undergo electrolysis, and that's how I'm putting this together. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of it together. I forgot to mention the configuration. So how it's going is I'm gonna power it with 12 volts, and you're meant to get roughly 1.5 volts per plate, as I understand. So I'm having power plate, 5 neutral plates, another power plate, 5 more neutral plates, and the last, third and final power plate. So I'll have a positive in the middle and the 2 outside power plates negative. So yeah, once again I'm stacking them like this. I'm gonna finish stacking and then I'll be back. I'm attaching the last power plate. This one doesn't have any rubber on it because it's the final one. So put it on and align the holes, and we're done. Alright, it's done. I've zip tied it. Took 2 zip ties for each one. One wasn't long enough. I'm sure if I had larger zip ties it would have worked, but the whole thing seems to have worked perfectly. If you look down there, you can see light except for the rubber. So yeah, it's all working. It seems like it'll work. I need to connect some wiring to the powers. This one in the center is going to be positive. These 2 are going to be negative, and the 10 plates, 5 in between each, are going to be neutral. So that should give me what I want. This is how the cell itself has been assembled. It's a nice, quick, easy way, I think, to put together a functional cell. I was originally planning to use some bolts that I had, but I had a lot of problems drilling through the steel with an 8mm bit, so I decided to go down to 4, which hole's tiny compared to an 8mm hole, and instead of using bolts I used